Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. We're going to be going and getting my TBR from the library because I don't really want to read any of the books I have. I don't have money in the budget this month to go and buy books, so I thought I would go to the library and check it out. I've not been to this one that we're at right now, but there's a book that I want in this one that isn't at other locations. Go ahead and get in there and go get this one book, and then we'll go get 3 from the other one. I just found a book at the library. I guess they sell books inside the library for like a discounted price, kind of like secondhand store stuff. I just found a whole pile of books for 50 cents. And I'm really excited and I can't wait to show you guys. But we are headed into the second store right now. We're heading into the second location right now to get the next 3 books that I want. I just found more of the book series that I'm in the middle of. Just found them in the library for 50 cents. Oh my gosh, that thing's heavy. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys what I got today at the library. So there's Mouse. So that book that I ran in to get just at that one library was Salt, a World History. This basically, from my understanding, goes over the salt trade, why salt was so important, and why people were going to wars over salt. So the history nerd in me had to see what this is all about. To be honest, it really reminded me, I don't know if you guys have seen the history drama Rain show. There is a character in that show that talks about salt because he is in the salt trade. And I always laugh because of how much he talks about salt and how much it annoyed one of the characters. And so it kind of reminded me of him. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm reading this, is because I feel like I kind of want to know more about salt. It intrigued me. I want to know, why is salt important? Why was it so important? Because I don't think we see the same value as we did back then, if that made sense. I don't know if that made sense. This book I got because of the author who wrote the foreword. So this is Biblical Critical Theory, how the Bible's unfolding story makes sense of modern life and culture. So the foreword was written by Timothy Keller, and I've read some of his books. It says critical theories exist to critique what we think we know about reality, the social, the political, and cultural structures in which we live. In doing so, they make visible the values and beliefs of a culture in order to scrutinize and change them. Biblical critical theory exposes and evaluates the often hidden assumptions and concepts that shape late modern society, examining them through the lens of the biblical story running from Genesis to Revelation. So it sounds pretty interesting. A lot's going on. Obviously, it's pretty chunky. It runs from Genesis to all the way to Revelation. So there's a lot of ground to cover. I do want to say my libraries don't have a lot of theology books, a lot of Christian books. And so when I saw that this was on there, I was pretty excited, and so I thought, let me give it a try. So that is Biblical Critical Theory. Next, I watched the King of Kings Angel Studios movie with my children, and the movie revolves around Charles Dickens telling the story of the Gospels to his kids. And I thought it was a very interesting concept because I didn't know that Charles Dickens was religious. I've not read any of his works or really studied much on him, and so that was something that I did not know. And so I actually ended up looking up if Charles Dickens actually did write the gospel in a children's story way for his children, and he did. So it's called Charles Dickens' The Life of Our Lord, written for his children during the years of 1846 to 1849. I'm very excited about this actually, and I think if I like this book enough, I will go buy my own copy so that I can read it to my kids. But I want to see if it's actually worth buying first before I purchase. Since this will be the first Charles Dickens book ever that I read. I've never read Charles Dickens, so maybe it's going to be a good introductory to his work, and I'll want to read more. I've heard really good things about him. Obviously, I've heard about him. So yeah, that's Charles Dickens. The next 3 books that I got are all focused on my personal curriculum of C.S. Lewis and J.R. Tolkien and studying their friendship, their own works. This lineup is very much on their friendship and Tolkien's works because I feel like I have a lot of stuff for C.S. Lewis. I mentioned this in my last video, C.S. Lewis and Tolkien. I read a book in February, I think. I want to say it was February now. I read a book that really introduced me to this topic and kind of created this rabbit hole of I want to know more, and so I found some resources at my library. The book is called Tolkien and C.S. Lewis, A Gift of Friendship. This one sounded pretty interesting. Mind you, I didn't look up any reviews. I didn't look up anything. I just know that I want to know more about their friendship and I want to know more about their lives. And so I feel like this might be a good introductory. It doesn't seem that long. I actually thought this book was going to be a lot bigger like the biblical critical theory book, but it wasn't. So I was kind of relieved because I checked out a lot of books for this month. I talked about this a little bit in my last video about how I was struggling to find resources for Tolkien and his work other than like his actual written work, but like books talking about his work or courses talking about his work. And I ended up finding these on the shelves. I just decided to give it a try because why not? So this is Finding God in the Lord of the Rings. So this sounded interesting. I didn't even read the back, I just grabbed it. And then I have The Christian World of the Hobbit as well. So I grabbed that. And then quickly, I want to also add, I read the first book of the series I read in January and I loved it. And then I found out that this is a 20-book series. Well, apparently libraries, you can buy books. Like they have a little bookstore inside your library for cheap books, like secondhand used books. And I was so excited when I saw that because I don't have a secondhand bookstore in my town or in my area at all. And so when I saw this, I was literally jumping for joy and I ran in there, and straight up when I walked in to the little bookstore, this was sitting there. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have been looking for these books for so long, and usually when you find like the stack, they're like, people are selling these things for like $20 for just 5 books or $20 for like a set. And so when I saw this and then the stamp said 50 cents, I was like, okay, I really thought that it was going to be 50 cents for each book, but no, it was 50 cents for this bundle. I was like, oh, like I was literally amazed. So that was the book set that I was really excited about. And then as I talked about a little bit ago, I then went into the second location library and I found 3 more. These were 50 cents each. So now I have 7 more books to the series and I'm really excited, and I feel like we need to solve some mysteries, some cozy mysteries together now, because now I'm feeling very encouraged. These things are such quick reads and so much fun. I really enjoyed The Cat Who Read Shakespeare, and so I'm very excited to hop into more of these books, and I can't believe that I found them. So that is it for my library haul. I hope that you guys enjoyed. As always, God bless and glory be to the Lord. Have a great day. Bye.